good transition into your amazing story about experiencing the Siddhas and the Rishis on Arunachalam, the hill, the Shiva's hill.
Good, because I'm glad you pronounced it, because I can't. All right, so let's go. I don't know how far deep you went. People following you, they understand the Nadi palm leaf reading. So let's just skip all the basics and I go to reading, not voluntarily. I was in India at this ashram, and the guru just comes up to me one day and goes, "Bill, you need to go down to Pune, and here's the address, and you get your Nadi palm leaf reading done." And I didn't know at the time that, you give your thumbprint and all that. Because when I went down there, he said, "Go down and get it done." I give my thumbprint and I sit there waiting. Well, we know these things could be 6 months or a year out, right? Or weeks, right? I didn't know. The guru sent me there, said I had to get a reading. So I sat there, gave my thumbprint. Again, the guy goes, I said, "I'm going to wait." 6 hours later, they found it. They found my bundle, which, if you know anything about this, that's amazing. That's a good story in itself right there, right? 6 hours, the guy ain't leaving until he gets his reading. I mean, that's kind of bold, right? I mean, really, now that I know all I know, I'm going, well, that really was stupid and bold. I mean, I could have been there forever. So I go in this room, and the whole process selecting it, anyway, so you answer all these questions: your mother's name, father's name, your name, my wife's name, the college, she went to college, or children, and about 40 things, all correct. And then he goes, "You have 2 gurus." I go, "2 gurus?" He says, "Lord Shiva is your guru, and the present ashram you're at right now, he was your guru once upon a time, apparently." So I'm going, okay. How could somebody be a disciple of Shiva? That didn't make any sense. I mean, but that was an odd thing to say, because I haven't run into anybody else since they said your guru is Lord Shiva. That's like, so I'm kind of going, what is going on here? But they knew my name, they knew my birth date, and I'll talk about the birth date because that's kind of significant. They go, after, it's like the second hour, right? Guy goes, "Your birth date is March 16th, 1946. And I said, "Oh, that's pretty darn good." He says, "Well, we're confused about the time." And I go, "Yeah, you guys don't know everything, right?" He says, we think it's between 1:10 and 1:25 in the morning. And so we're going to pick, 1:15 or something, whatever they picked as a representative time for the reading. And what they didn't know was, when I was born in San Francisco, the doctor wasn't there when I was being birthed. And in fact, my mother was getting an enema to clean me out so she could give birth. And whoop, I came right into the enema pan, the metal pan they use in the hospital. And I come out head first into a whole metal bowl of crap. And anyway, and they don't pull me all the way out because they want the doctor to get paid for the delivery. So by the time the doctor gets there and I'm cleaned up and everything, and he asks the nurse, he says, "What time was he born?" Put on the birth certificate. And she goes, "I don't know, between 1:10 and 1:25. Nobody wrote down." So they took a guess, and the same guess the doctor took, was the same guess the Nadi readers took. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
That's amazing. Yeah.
It was like iffy with them, and it was iffy with the doctor, and they both compromised on a time. I'm going,
yeah. Usually the time is not on the Nadi leaf, so that's unusual.
Oh, what else was unusual about this first reading? And we discussed that because I didn't know it was possible. Because I caught myself telling people, because they were talking about my mother, and I looked at the Nadi and it had writing, but there was a part that all of a sudden her name is like three-dimensional. Her name is, I'm looking at her name where somewhere there's nothing on this thing, and I'm going, Marcella. And I'm going, and then people tell me, "You couldn't see her name. It would have been there. It would have been another." And I said, "No, it was there, Marcella," because I know the stuff's in sounds and all that. But I remember looking at that at the time, thinking, "No, it's there." That was really odd that you could see a name on one of these things. That was odd. Anyway, that was two odd things.
Yeah.
So they said, "Okay, I get ready to pay him for the reading," and the guy goes, "No, that's not the reading. We just want to know who you were. Now we're going to go get your chart, right?" So I sit there for another half a day, and they call me upstairs. And when I go up there and they make all these predictions, like I was going to go to, this is one of the predictions they made, besides I was going to get blessed by Lord Shiva or Babaji or whatever. One of the other predictions was I was going to come back the next year. This was in 2010. And you're going to come back and you're going to go to this temple in southern India. It's a Shiva temple. You're going to walk around the courtyard. You're going to see the hill. And in my mind, it was like Shiva's mountain or something, but they had a name for it, which you pronounced, which I can't. And And I didn't think about it at the time. I didn't know the history of it. I didn't know I had no clue where it was at, other than it was south, right? South India. And there's a lot of Shiva temples there. And but I was supposed to go there in February the next year and go from the temple and walk 3 or 4 hours uphill, where when I got around the top of the hill, I was going to meet the Rishis. All the Rishis would be there. All the Rishis. So I thought that was, again, this is my first exposure to this Nadi reading. I'm thinking, this is nuts. Yeah. So the next year, I said, I'll play their game. So I fly to India after I was in Germany, and I had a heart attack in Mumbai. And I'm told I got to go home, and I'm flown home for heart surgery. And I'm laying on the operating table. They're getting ready to put me under, cut my chest open. I'm totally naked, laying on a thinnest of sheet on a metal table in a cold room. You can see the breath of the surgeons. They don't want to heat in a room for bacteria and stuff, right?
Yeah, in California.
Yeah, in California, Sacramento. And I'm thinking there, I'm going, well, so much for that prediction, because that day was the day I was supposed to be at that temple. And I'm thinking, I'm 9,000 miles away, or 10,000, whatever it is, right? 10, 11, 12,000 miles away. I said, there ain't no way in the world to be in that temple. I'm on this table. So that reading is just, that's fantasy world, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they put me under. And as soon as I'm put under, I have an experience which I'm still trying to find a word to describe. It wasn't a near-death experience like you would think. A near-death experience, you leave in your spirit, your consciousness floating around. This is, I'm instantaneously, I'm exiting, or I exit from that body that was on the table. The table still held my body. My body was still alive. It was being kept alive by a heart and lung pump, pumping oxygen in. My heart was stopped, and they were ripping my chest open and doing all the surgery, 8-hour surgery. But instantaneously, with the darkness goes, boom, and then boom, I'm standing in this temple courtyard.
Annamalai temple courtyard in Arunachala.
It was one of those simple temples. It's like those ones that look like Indian pyramids or some weird tall stuff. They're like skyscrapers, right? And I'm going, this is really unusual. I'll remember that when I see it again, which I've seen videos this week. I'm going, oh yeah, that's it, right? and then being the modest me, I'm thinking, wait a minute. I was totally naked on that table. So I looked down to make sure I had clothes on. So it's my experience. I'm clothed, right? So I'm going.
But you're physical. You're not like an astral body projection. You're totally 100% physical.
People are bumping into me. I'm sweating from the sun.
Mm-hmm.
I feel my face. I get a little burned. I don't know if I had shoes on. I thought about this. It was almost like
you're barefoot. Most people are barefoot there anyway. Most people don't wear shoes in a temple.
I'm kind of coming. It's like it was too sacred to be wearing shoes. But there I am. I got clothes on, but I don't think I have shoes on. And no hat. And so I'm looking at the hill, and these people. I'm hearing people talking. The mountain, right? Shiva Mountain or something. There's some weird tourists are talking. I'm looking, it's no mountain. It's a hill, right? It's a hill, right? I was supposed to go to the Shiva temple in that prediction at this exact date, right? I don't know about time-wise, because it's 12 and a half hours difference. So whatever, right? But the time might not have been exactly, but it was when I was supposed to be there that day. It's the same day still in India. And I see the trail, and I see people walking up. All these barefoot people walking up this trail, stone steps and things and stuff, And I go, in this prediction, it was said that I would walk from 2 to 4 hours. And I'm looking on YouTube and watching people hike up there, and these young people go, yeah, we made it in 3 hours. And I'm thinking, well, that's 2 to 4 hours, 3 hours, someplace in there. I wasn't getting tired walking up it. In fact, I wasn't feeling I wasn't feeling anything, except once in a while, I could feel surgeons' hands in my chest on the table, and I knew they were cutting, prodding, doing something, right? So it was like, I'm in this body, but I'm kind of still aware of that body back.
So it's by location. Basically, it's by location.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So I walk, and then I get to this, I go, this is a spot. And I look over this field. There's a few trees, but there's, grass. There's rocks. There's some logs. There's a sacred fire.
But you go off the path, and there were people walking on the path, and you sort of go off the path, correct?
Yeah, I thought people would see what I saw and follow me, but it was like I'm walking into an invisible world or something, and they're walking by, not even. It's like
cognizant of what's happening.
I'm walking by and I'm going, hey, what are you looking for? It's right here. You walk by it, right? So I thought and I get there, and there's no excitement on my part. I look around, and these guys got the wild hairdos, braids and fuzzy hair and all this kind of stuff, right? And
they have the sacred fire you mentioned going.
And so I have no questions. I sit down on a rock or a log. I sat down with them, and for a while I just sat there. And I was told in the prediction, which I didn't believe, the prediction was, you'll walk up this hill, you'll meet all the Rishis, and you won't have any questions because you'll know all the answers. That was this prediction. I thought, that's stupid. I know nothing. I always got questions. Come on. So I didn't have any questions. It was like looking at that orb we talked about earlier. There was no thoughts. There was no analysis. There was no, oh, these are the Rishis. I knew it was the Rishis, but I didn't, my mind didn't go, this is Rishis. But I knew them all. They knew me. It was brothers. It was like, it's like oneness. It was, and then there was a 19th person there. The guru at the ashram that sent me for the reading. He was standing there like this, Bill, don't give up heart. You can skip a few beats, but don't give up heart. I'm going, what's all that about, right? What's going on there, right? So he kept saying that to me, and I kept going, and then all of a sudden, the sky, this voice, the voice of the most angelic goddess. I mean, nobody ever, a voice of a man, God, you hear the voice of a goddess, a divine woman, feminine energy. They're always about 20 in my mind, and they're always this most fantastic vibration frequency. It just, yeah, whatever they say, you listen, right? Yeah, great, somebody's talking to me, right? There's an angel there or something, right? Maybe it was Babaji's sister. Now I'm thinking about it. Who knows? But it was this beautiful voice. And the voice goes, Bill, give up your heart. Let it go. You don't need to do anything for anybody. You've done your karma a long time ago. You have no karmic debt. You don't owe anybody anything. You're already where you're supposed to be. We promise you. Yeah, I think she said we, or maybe I. I'm not too sure about that. Could have been we. We promise you peace, bliss, joy, no more pain. Come join us. Like we're going to go off to another planet or someplace, right? And I'm going, oh, that's beautiful. And then the guru guy's going, Bill, you don't give up heart. You can skip a beat, but don't give up heart. I'm going, well, she's offered me peace and bliss. I said, what are you going to offer me to stay? I offered you more pain and suffering you ever had in your life. I'm going, you're trying to sell me on this, and you're offering me more pain? He says, you've used your yoga in the past where you could get a dentist. I never got shots. I was drilled down. I mean, pain was nothing to me. I could always, just using yoga powers, and I'd overcome pain, right? He says, that's gone. You're going to feel all pain now, greater than you ever felt. And you need that. And so you can gift others with what you learned how to handle that. You can't use magic anymore. You got to do it like a regular person. I go, what kind? I said, wait a minute. She's promised me bliss and peace, and I don't owe anybody a thing. And she goes, yes, that's true. He says, but I'm promising you pain and suffering. And I go, why would I want to do that? So then he kind of does this, and this is where that sky opens up. There's all these clouds, like you're flying an airplane. There's these clouds, right? We're on top of this mountain, quote unquote, my hill, Shiva Hill. And all of a sudden I see this oceans and rivers of faces from all around the world. Indians, Chinese, Americans, French, German, Italians, Vietnamese, men, women, children, old people, some dogs, some cats, a few birds, a few animals. But it was like an endless sea, just kept going and going and going. And then he tells me, he says, you owe them nothing. But if you don't come back, they don't get the gift that you could have gave them and changed their lives. What a heavy trip that is. I'm going, come on, man. That's not fair. Right? So he says, it may just be a gift of a smile, being loved, being understood. You may teach them something. You may heal them. It could be anything. But all these people, their lives will be impacted by you not coming back. And I'm still not sold on that, right? So I'm going through this little argument on the hill, and all of a sudden, on the operating table, clear. They're restarting my heart, right? Boom. And now I'm back on the table. And I'm in the greatest pain I've ever been in my entire life. I got a tube down my throat so I can't talk. I'm strapped to the table so I can't move. I got my eyes shut. And I hear the anesthesiologist tell the doctor, hey, doctor, the anesthesia's wore off. I think the patient's feeling it. And the doctor's going, it's okay. I only got another 20 to 40 minutes. I'll close them up. And I'm going,
Oh my God.
wait, another 20 to 40 minutes. I'm feeling everything. And that was the
Oh
longest
my God.
20 to 40 minutes of my life, because I mean, I'm feeling him, sewing these things up. I feel him wiring my rib cage back together with wires, stapling my chest. Never gave me no anesthesia.
Oh, wow.
Screaming in my head. So my reward for coming back was more pain and suffering instantaneously. So anyway, so what has happened? There's a deeper story. It goes on for much longer than we have. But bottom line was, or is, because it's continuing, as I go around the world from Britain to Germany to Czech Republic to Switzerland to wherever I go, Hawaii, I'm finding those faces. And people will come to my workshops and I'll go, yeah, that's why I went here. So it's not how many people come to my events, it's who. So I always look to see who those people that are supposed to be there are there. And so that's what I'm doing now. So I'm going around the world. I'm doing free self-healing workshops, teaching people how to overcome pain and suffering, which I had to learn again in a way that I could teach others without using any magic, yoga, no super, but teaching people with the real people, a real technique to overcome their pain. And so that's what I've been doing.
Yeah. Awesome, Reverend Bill. That was just amazing. And, you put it so simply and so easily, but these are very, very rare experiences. So I hope that viewers can absorb the enormous, how enormous these experiences are and just how rare they are. And it's just, it shows that we have such few people of your level of evolution on the planet. So at least I'm very thankful to be in your presence and that you decided to stay back and share your wisdom and love with everyone.
I think I was drafted.
Second time.
First Nadi reading, they said that the reading was written by Augusta. And then someplace in the reading says I was supposed to pass on knowledge of these readings. And my reading only went from 2010 to 2020 where it ended. And I was told if I traveled to India, I was never going to come back in 2020. Don't travel anywhere. Stay home. It's and I was also told that was basically the end of the reading. That was the end of me as that possible future. And it was only based on my usefulness to Shiva. Not me, not wanting to be with my grandkids or watch Super Bowl, celebrate more birthdays. It was if I was deemed worthy to carry out the work, then I'd be given more time. And in 2020, I had our dear friend, Dr. Q. He was curious. He goes, I'm giving you, we're going to get you reading. This can't be the, and so in that reading basically said that my job now was to write more books and talk about the Nadi palm leaf reading. And I was supposed to talk about Augusta, and I was supposed to get people involved in this and help those that are doing this. That was part of it. Not all on me. I'm helping Dr. Q. Hopefully, if I'm there for anybody else that needs it, I'm supposed to pass on whatever I can to these people. In other words, I'm there at their beck and call, and but it's not for me. And I'm given I'm going to be 80 now, and they maybe 86, 87, 88, maybe 89 would be pushing it. So I feel like I'm on the fast track. The candle's burning down. I can't fool around. I got to get my message out.